Scope of practice for personal trainers. Let's have a look. All right, team, here with me, Coach Chicken Legs. I get asked all the time, what is my scope of practice as a personal trainer? Where is the line? Where can I not cross? And it's a really great question, and it is really quite ambiguous because when we finish our Cert 3, Cert 4, we are let out into the wild to figure it out. So to make stuff nice and clear, I'm going to tell you now what I would expect the scope of practice for a personal trainer is. You cannot comment on anything that is a major health concern. So if a client has osteoporosis, if a client has arthritis, if a client has osteoarthritis, those things you cannot touch. If a client has a knee reconstruction and has not been cleared by a physiotherapist, then you cannot touch it. So everything that you do has to be approved prior by a health professional. So if you get a client who comes in and they have osteoporosis, but their health professional has said, I need you to go to the gym to build up some bone density and strength, and they have gone to you and they have been told they don't need an exercise physiologist, that's okay to deal with. However, the question becomes, are you able to deal with it? So I always tell my guys that if they're not comfortable, they refer and then find out. So if they're not sure if they can work with osteoporosis, and keep in mind, a lot of the guys we work with are exercise physiologists and absolutely can do that. If you're a PT and you don't know if you can, just defer it out, because if you don't know, it means you probably can't. You cannot prescribe movement. You cannot say, this movement will fix your knee. You cannot do that, and you cannot say that. You can say that building strength around a joint and in muscle is a good way to help with problems around strength. So if you've got weak legs, we might do some leg strengthening stuff to build strength. That's good. That's fine. But I can't say do leg extensions, it will fix your knee, because it's specific. Same in the nutritional space. We get a lot of nutritional questions, as we should. We're in that kind of zone. I absolutely cannot say you need to have more chicken, you need to have more mushroom, and you need to have more tomato, because I don't know if you have allergies, I don't know what your biome is made up of, and I don't know what that's going to do, because I've functionally prescribed you those meals. But what I can say is that based off the health standard, the running average of protein in a day is 0.8 grams per kilo, just the baseline, and it is suggested that 2 grams per kilo is a pretty good level for most people. I'm not telling them what to do, I'm just giving them facts. Your best weapon as a personal trainer is just facts. For example, I cannot say to your client that I'm going to get you to lose 20 kilos in 3 months, because you just don't know if that's true. But I can say it is known that if you're in a slight calorie deficit and you are training well and you're eating well, it is likely you will lose weight. So I'm being ambiguous, I'm being kind of open-ended. So I will say to someone, a standard, an average for weight loss is about 200 grams a week, roughly, depending on the person, depending on the size of the person, depending on how much they're doing. But 200 grams a week is the health standard. That's when you go and you look on Australian health standards or American health standards or whatever, it will have these numbers. All I'm doing is reading out a sheet that they have access to as well. The difference is I come from the background that I can interpret the data better. So what I want you to remember as far as scope of practice is that when in doubt, don't touch it. That's fine. If you're nervous about the thing, don't touch it. I don't want you to feel and come across like an idiot. You don't have to drop the client then and there. You may, however, say, hey, we're going to get back to that later. Let's just move on and we'll readdress that next session. You read up on it and establish if it's within your scope of practice or not. We have a very blurry line, team, between helping people as a PT and stepping over the line. For example, touching a client you cannot do unless you have the actual quals to do it. You can't physically touch someone. Okay, so I can't, if they have a knot in their back, or I want to see, for example, like a physio might adjust the leg to see how well things are holding together. I can't do that as a PT, even if I understand the concepts around it, okay? I can get a client to foam roll their back, but I can't massage their back with my hands. That's a physio's job, okay? Unless you have the skills. Now, here's what I want to end you with. If you find that your gym has a requirement for something, so you keep getting clients who are nutritional clients who are a little bit above your skill set, you keep getting clients who are injured who are a little bit above your skill set, that is your business telling you you are missing a skill. You either need to hire someone to do that job or learn those skill sets yourself. And from there, you start building up your scope of practice so you can help these people. So that's my advice to you. If you're nervous, don't do it. Do not work with any chronic disease or chronic injury. If the client is being kept up at night and cannot sleep because of the thing, that's a good indicator that it's above your scope of practice as a PT. My red flags are, does it keep them up? Does it hurt outside of exercise? And have they been cleared by a doctor or seen a physio? If those three things, if all of those things are not in a good spot, I don't even look at the client. I refer on, because I promise you it is not worth the lawsuit. And if you pop someone's knee out or injure their back, it is horrible. It is a horrible thing for people who are trying to help people in this industry. You're not here to break people. You're here to fix people. Most of the clients that my guys and I deal with are people who get injured from personal trainers. Don't be one of those people.